Hello, namaste everybody from Goa. End of the day, sitting beside a pool that keeps getting ever more greener. And yes, it's becoming a science project. So I'm reading to you from the pilgrimage section from this magazine, Namarupa, the magazine for classical Indian thought, from an article I wrote for this current issue about my pilgrimage to West Bengal. So yesterday, the previous part of the pilgrimage was about visiting two sacred places in Calcutta. One, a Shakti Peeth, Kalighat, and the other, Dakshineswar, where Ramakrishna, the seat of Ramakrishna, and great tantric Bengali wild yogi who was a devotee of Kali. Yes, and so now I'm going to read about my trip to Shantiniketan and about the ball minstrel musicians who also live in the area and are bhakti yogis. Okay, and on my reading glasses. Much better. At 6 a.m. we catch the first train to Shantiniketan from Kolkata Howrah Junction. It's a 3-hour journey, and I enjoy looking out the windows, sipping chai in clay cups, and reading The City of Love, written by Kostab's girlfriend, Rimi B. Chatterjee. Our base is a suite hotel in Shantiniketan, university town 180 kilometers north of Calcutta. Here is this divine chai in the clay cup. Usually they're served in plastic. Such a treat. You can just smash them and they're very eco. Okay. Shantiniketan began as an ashram in 1863 when Maharishi Devendranath Tagore invited people from all religions to join in meditation and prayers. The spiritual center later became the base for the anti-British reformist, the Brahmo Samaj movement. In 1921, Devendranath Tagore's son, Rabindranath Tagore, used the money from the Nobel Prize he received in 1913 for his book of poems, Gitanjali, to build a more formal college, which today is known as the Vishva Bharati University. Very prestigious university. I love the rural village feel around Shantiniketan. Early morning, the washermen, dobies, flog clothes on the ghat in the open-air laundromat on the lake. Small goats butt heads under banyan trees. The roads are ablaze with color from flowering trees. Bougainvillea petals carpet the ground. I wander the university grounds under the mango trees, in the open-air classrooms of the Pata Bhavana, and through the historic buildings of the Kala Bhavana, or the Institute of Fine Arts, that is famous for the spread of the Bengal School of Art and boasts an impressive faculty and student body. Mostly I sit in the Upasana Griha, an exhibit glass house and meditation hall that Tagore the Elder built in 1863. The early morning sun hits the glass and shafts of colored light illuminate the space. The entire place is indeed very shanti. Back at the hotel, our driver arrives and we jump in a jeep and head off to our second Shakti Peeth. Kankali, or Kankalita, Kankaleshwari is a temple town on the banks of the Kopai River, 10 kilometers northeast of Bolpur station. Kankali comes from the Bengali word kanal and means skeleton because the bones of the Devi fell at this place. Her pelvis or waist fell at this place, and they fell with such a blow that a kund or pond appeared in the earth. Adjacent to the kund is the temple of Devi Parvati. I'm magnetized by the pond. Inside the temple, altar image of Kali. I'm magnetized by the pond and walk the kora or pathway around its circumference to sit at the far side. It's contemplative and beautiful to behold. The reflections on the water seem profound, and the colorful floating puja flowers strike an emotional chord. It's a feminine and peaceful place, nurturing. Devotees believe the body parts of the Devi are here, still, under the pond. So this is one of the photographs that I took here. Very special energy. Second visit necessary. Jayadev Kunduli is the birthplace of the poet Jayadeva, who composed the Gita Govinda in Sanskrit in the 12th century CE. We're inside the Radha Madhav Mandir, also known as the Temple of Radha Binod, that is rumored to have been built on top of Jayadev's house. Built in 1683 CE in the traditional Navaratna style of Bengali architecture, the temple has an interesting shape and is ornately decorated with terracotta carvings representing the 10 avatara incarnations of Vishnu and scenes from the Ramayana. The Ramayana. Inside the inner sanctum, I find Krishna and Radha, the exotic lovers so adored by bhakti yogis. Krishna is black and made from salagram stone, an ancient fossil found in Nepal around Muktinath, a sacred pilgrimage site for Vaishnavites. I've been to Muktinath and have a shalagram given to me by my guru. And so having darshan on this murti pulls at my heartstrings. I feel tremendous love for Krishna. Hari Om. We also stopped by the temple where Jayadeva worshipped before he wrote the Gita Govinda, this ancient brick monument by the river Ajay in present Bardham district of West Bengal. Although the temple is called the Temple of Ichaya Ghosh, or Ichaya Gosher Dual in Bengali, and has no deity. Kunduli is a religious center with many temples and ashrams. But what makes it really special is the Kunduli Mela, or Ball Fair, that attracts several thousand ball musicians for a month each year. Clusters of folk singers who set up camp on the banks of the Ajoy River. I wonder if that will be happening this year. And they sing devotional songs. Balls have inherited the legacy of the Jayadev songs. The history of Ball deserves its own article, but in a nutshell, they are wandering minstrel yogis currently living in Bangladesh and West Bengal, close to villages where they make their money playing songs to the accompaniment of a ektara, a single one-stringed instrument like a banjo, and a handheld drum called a dudi. Ball music is soulful folk song that celebrates celestial love on very earthy terms. It's an oral tradition where singer-songwriters pour out their feelings but never write them down. Like most things in the spiritual world, ball music is becoming more commercial. But in its pure form, ball minstrels are bhakti yogis who merge their spiritual path with music. Most of them are either bhakti Hindus or Sufi Muslims and follow Sahaja yoga. An unorthodox devotional tradition that arose in Bengal in the 8th century CE among Buddhist yogis called Sahaja Siddhas. Sahaja means natural, and like Buddha nature, when our own true nature is established, it brings the state of absolute freedom and peace. Sahaja shares the non-dual ideas of Tibetan Dzogchen, Hindu bhaktis, and the Sufi songs of Kabir. All the lineages have mystic singers, a legacy of song. Ball is an ancient practice that has influenced many kinds of yoga, including the Nat Sampradaya. Many balls are married householders and emulate the divine relationship of Radha and Krishna. Their conjugal relationship is part of their secret tantric practice and leads to the highest spiritual realization, the state of union, or yugala. The element of love, the innovation of the Vaishnava Sahajiya school, it's essentially based on the element of yoga in the form of physical and psychological discipline. Amanda Kumaraswamy describes its significance as the last achievement of all thought and a recognition of the identity of spirit and matter, subject and object. Continuing, there is then no sacred or profane, spirit or sensual, but everything that lives is pure and void. One of the classic texts associated with the Sahajiya Buddhists is the Hevajara Tantra. This Tantra describes 4 kinds of joy or ecstasy. From joy there is some bliss. From perfect joy yet more. From the joy of cessation comes a passionless state. The joy of Sahaja is finality. The first comes by desire for contact, the second by desire for bliss, the third from passing of passion, and by this means the fourth, Sahaja, is realized. Perfect joy is samsara, mystic union. The joy of cessation is nirvana. Then there is a plain joy between the two. Sahaja is free from them all. For there is neither desire nor absence of desire, nor a middle to be obtained. We stop at a nearby village called Kalipur to visit Nitai Chandra Das, an internationally acclaimed Baal musician. Nitai is the 3rd generation of mystic minstrels in his family. We meet him at his ashram on the edge of town, a mud and thatch village hut decorated with musical instruments. Nitai Chandra Das sings melodious songs inside the ashram. Jayadev Guru. I have to post some of their songs on my YouTube channel. And then we're moving into another section of the pilgrimage, so I will read that on the next video. Thank you. Join me.